I might do a video after we're done today because some of the things about the whole Bill Belichick, personal, professional distractions, etc., need to be addressed. For now, though, we're going to set that aside. We're going to push that over here. He was on the Pivot podcast last week, and there was some interesting stuff. And we're going to try to get to as much of this as we can. I want to start with Belichick talking about the well-publicized habit of calling out Tom Brady in meetings, much like Bill Parcells used to do with your dad, Phil, as a way to send a message to the rest of the team that there are no sacred cows in this particular barn. Here's Belichick on that topic.
Like, you hammer at Tom as much as you hammered at the practice squad guys and anybody else. Why was that important?
You know, I think it was really important because, and Tom knew it, and Tom brought it to my attention. It enabled him to give more leadership to the offense. Mm-hmm. If I didn't point him out, then everybody walks out there feeling like, well, they got yelled at except for him. But when I could, make points to Tom, then Tom could say, hey, fellas, look, he got after me too. He got after all of us. We got to get it going. And I learned that from Coach Knight. Coach Knight did that with Jordan in the Olympics. And he told Jordan, I'm going to be on you. I'm going to be on you hard, especially on defense, because I know you can take it. Jordan says, bring it on. I just want everybody else to play better. Bring it on. Because if you're yelling at Michael Jordan,
you're like, hey,
everybody else got to come go, And so a lot of times I would tell Tom, hey, Tom, it could get a little rough in there today. Just want to let you know. He goes, well, make sure you include me because I need to be part of it. Don't worry, I'll include you, Tom. Don't worry about that.
And look, we've known this for years, and there's a value to it, but it's kind of a grift on the other players. And maybe even if you know that it's been prearranged, because that was my big takeaway from it. This was no surprise to Tom Brady when he walks into the room and he gets his ass chewed out. He knows it's coming.
Yeah.
They've talked about it in advance. And I assume Phil probably knew
That's right.
that Parcells was going to go after him. But for the guys in the room, I've heard the stories about like Chad Ochocinco in there in 2011, and it happened. He ripped him over, how they got blown off the field by the Jets in the playoffs in 2010. And I think Chad wanted to get him run out of the room.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of teams, I don't want to say do this, but you try to challenge the guy that's the leader of your football team and hold him accountable because we know that the rest of the team will respect that, and then they know, wait, if you can yell at that superstar like that, you certainly can yell at me and correct some things, and that's the beauty of that there. And I think
why doesn't everybody do it?
I don't know. There's too many.
So easy.
No, you're right, and we're not. It's the old school is not the new school. Life's a little different. Guys don't want to be yelled at like that anymore, and that was the greatness of Tom Brady. He could deal with that, and I'm sure Belichick every year probably warned him the first 2 or 3 times he was going to yell at him, but then later in the year, I'm sure Brady walked into meetings going like, I'm going to get it today. Like he's already told, like this is one I know it didn't go well. But yeah, my dad, he certainly would tell you a story. Parcells would be more doing it at practice. He'd tell my dad, from all the stories I've always heard my dad tell me, they'd be walking and he'd look at Simms and my dad and go, hey Simms, I got to make a point today. So I'm gonna rip you a new one on the field at some point. And my dad said he'd be having a hell of a practice and he'd throw the first incompletion of the day, right? He's 20 of 20, and now he's 20 of 21. And Parcells would throw his papers up in the air and go, oh my gosh, effing Simms, and go. But he wanted to make a point so he could yell at somebody else the next day or later that day. And there is beauty in it. And I don't know why more don't do it, Mike. I'm with you there.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.